Death. Death.
Oh, he's back.
I need your help.
What's wrong?
I made a big mistake. Everyone's after me. Even Stannis Noise is livid.
And how does this concern me?
You could turn back time, right?
Why in the world would you believe that?
I don't know, the hourglasses, sands of time, threads of fate, yeah.
Damn it all, you're right.
Just a couple months. That's all I need. I could sort it out and fix everything.
Okay. I'll send you back in time, alright. Way back.
Oh, this burns. I didn't realize it would burn so much.
Bon voyage, jackass.
Ugh. 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 A graceful landing if there ever was one. Ugh. This feels off. Everything is so angular. How far back did he send me? Yeah, I wouldn't read too much into that meta-narrative. I saw an OSRS Blender tutorial and thought it'd be fun to try out. It took a while and probably wasn't worth it, but I mean, it was kind of fun. Also, this isn't even my Ferris Noise account. He's not an Ironman on Old School, so the bit sort of falls apart immediately. Anyway, let's jump right into it and start off with the most iconic quest in the game, Cook's Assistant. Then we can walk and talk, just the two of us. First of all, rather than mimicking every other Ironman and being efficient, I thought it'd be more fun to do all the free-to-play quests first before we shove off into the members areas. It'll be slow and grueling, but if that doesn't describe 90% of RuneScape, then I don't know what does. Secondly, don't worry about Ferris Noise's RS3 journey. I just needed a little change because I felt burnout starting to creep its ugly head. And if I didn't take a break from RS3, I'd certainly have burnout on YouTube as well. I definitely didn't want that, so think of this as therapeutic. I haven't played Old School in a good 5 years, and when I did, I was still a low to mid-level player, so there's a ton of content I never even looked at. I'm really interested in those skilling bosses and minigames, Volcano, the Giant's Foundry, Guardians of the Rift, and that fishing one, Tempest, Tempura Shrimp. You know, in RuneScape 3, this quest is a bit different. You still have to get milk, eggs, and flour, but it's special milk, a big egg, and extra fine flour. All untradeable, so you can't just buy the items from the GE and finish the quest in a second. You actually have to meander around Lumbridge and collect stuff, like what I'm doing now. So, I mean, not that much different really. Also, the astute among you might have noticed that I have some arrow shafts in my inventory. Figured it'd be worthwhile to cut logs and fletch them as I wandered around. 12 woodcutting will let us use the canoe station, probably the best form of transportation we'll have for a while. And since I'm going to be walking everywhere, slowly, and fletching doesn't interrupt walking, why not fletch? Yeah, fletching is a pay-to-play skill, it's a member skill, but whatever. I'm just doing the free-to-play quest first, man. Let me fletch. Don't worry about it. I'm not Swampletics. I'm not that committed to rule sets, so just shut up. We'll knock out Misthalin Mysteries next, since I'm in the neighborhood. I believe this was the first free-to-play quest added to Old School, so it's not surprising that it's a total bottle episode that reuses assets from Draenor Manor. I guess it's cute being a Scream reference and all. I don't know why it gives crafting XP as a reward though, but you know, I'll take it. Because I can't do waterfall quests just yet, my accuracy is gonna be garbage. But the little boost I'd get from flicking offensive prayers might help a little bit with that, and the Restless Ghost quest gives quite a big chunk of prayer XP for very little effort. Like many free-to-play quests, this one was changed in RS3 as well. It's more streamlined and kept primarily in Lumbridge. His skull is in the swamp, not the Wizard's Tower. Why the Wizard's Tower has a spooky dungeon with a skull altar is anyone's guess. I also made sure to start Rune Mysteries before I came here since the Duke wanted us to bring something to Sedrador. And since I'm walking everywhere very slowly, the fewer trips I need to make, the better. I got no lodestones, I got no teleports, and I got no run energy. At least it's a nice way to take in the sights, to very methodically and slowly take in the sights. The sights you've seen tens of thousands of times before, but every time it feels like something new. Oh, the memories. Anyway, Sedrador gives us a package to bring to Aubrey and Varrock, but we'll just hold on to it for now and drop it off when we're in the area. No need to go out of our way, right? Because I needed some combat levels and 10 cooking to make a red berry pie for a later quest, I stopped by Seth Grote's chicken farm and started indiscriminately killing his livelihood, burying their bones, collecting their feathers, and cooking their meat. This will be decent food for a little bit as well, since I can't go to Ardoin and steal cakes, but I mean, how important could cakes be in free-to-play? Surely I won't need that much food, right? Right. I got a beginner clue from a chicken. I don't know where he was keeping it. After getting 10 cooking on the farm, I went north to Varrock to complete the clue, got a hat, a fire stick, and some chaos runes. Not terrible actually, I'm strapped for cash, and the fire staff might come in handy later. I think an air staff would have been better, but I'm not totally sure because rune calculations are different on Old School, and I don't remember half of the... In RS3, it's just the same amount of runes for every spell, and you don't need catalytic runes to cast spells, so it's like 1 air, 1 fire for fire strike, or 5 air, 5 fire for fire wave, or whatever the hell. It's a lot simpler. Since I was in Varrock, finally, I grabbed some red berries and cadaver berries from the south of the city, and I knocked out Romeo and Juliet. The quest, not the people. In RS3, this quest is just gone. Instead, it's a love story between a dwarven poet and a barbarian woman from the barbarian village. Same theme, different characters, and with a happy ending. I did Shield of Arav with an alt because for some reason, everyone joins the Phoenix gang and everyone's looking for a black arm partner. I think it's because the Quest Helper plugin defaults to the Phoenix Gang guide, so everyone ends up taking that path, leaving no one available for the Black Arm Gang. The plugin should randomize that. Demon Slayer. This is certainly the biggest quest we've done so far, with several steps that send you to several locations. A little taste of what's to come with RuneScape quests. It's unsurprisingly different in RS3, and contained solely within Varrock. At least as far as I remember. It's a bit unfortunate, actually. I kind of like how it's done in old school. The first 2 keys were trivial, but the third one, from Wizard Treyborn, required us to get 25 bones. These wizards are sketchy as hell. I could go back to killing chickens for bones, but I had a better idea. We can use the minigame teleport to go to Clan Wars, which takes us to Ferox Enclave, a little safe haven in the middle of the wilderness. In RS3, the wilderness is opt-in PvP, is totally different. I'm sure y'all would hate it. From here, if we run north out of the gate, we can not only collect random bones lying around, but there's also an iron bar spawn. We'll need 2 of those for Knight's Sword, and if we don't get them from here, we'll need to get 10 smithing first to smelt the iron ore, which itself requires 15 mining to mine anyway. The purpose of Knight's Sword is to skip the early mining levels, so wilderness bars it is. We gave the bones to Treyborn and he gave us the final key. Also, do you notice that little bit of paper in my inventory? Yeah, I needed to give that to Cedrador in order to finish Rune Mysteries, because I was trying to minimize the amount of trips I had to make. Well, now look at this clip where I'm getting Silverlight. Notice anything here? Yep, I forgot to give the notes to Cedrador, so we'll have to go all the way back to Wizard's Tower. Hopefully, I don't die beforehand and lose the quest item. Hey, 6 minutes and 55 seconds have passed, which means I have to do a call to action. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, floss your teeth. It's got nothing to do with YouTube, but it's just good advice. Delvrith killed me, and I didn't record it. Is there a way to skip this cutscene? There's no way it wasn't suggested ages ago. It's just tedious. What, would that be easy escape? Come on, guys. Okay, please come over here. Come here. You go away. I did it. Alright, I got the notes back, and I returned to Lumbridge. I guess it wasn't so bad that I needed to travel to the tower again, since there's the Imp Catcher quest I needed to do anyway. But first, I needed a set of beads. Up until this point, I was killing any imp that happened to cross my path, but now I had to hunker down and camp a single spot. Luckily, there's an imp spawn point right here in the Lumbridge courtyard. RuneLight has a feature that lets you highlight certain monsters, and it also puts a little box on their spawn location with a countdown, telling you when it's gonna spawn. Convenient little thing. RuneLight plays the game for you. It's not like other MMOs have add-ons or whatever. Imps are annoying, and farming beads is even more annoying. In RS3, this quest sends you to the 4 elemental runecrafting altars where you find 4 imps and basically make them vomit up the beads. They're based on the 4 humors of medieval medicine. I'm sure you can hear the air quotes in my voice. You collect sanguine, phlegmatic, choleric, and melancholic beads rather than red, white, yellow, and black. Just a neat little bit of flavor. Because Silverlight just wasn't cutting it as a good imp killing weapon, ironically you'd think it'd be good since they're demons, I went over to Zeke's shop in Al Kharid and bought a steel scimitar. Man, it took way too many imps to get this last bead. 55 imps. It's ridiculous. We delivered the notes to Cedrador and finished up Rune Mysteries, unlocking rune crafting, everyone's favorite skill. This entire quest was actually removed from RS3 and replaced with a much more grandiose one. You're less of a delivery boy and more of a discoverer of hidden secrets boy. We started and finished Imp Catcher immediately, placing a seed of distrust in Wizard Mizgog's head because, let's be honest, it's suspicious as all get out that we just so happen to have his stolen goods on us. The quest got us 10 magic, and we'll need all the magic levels we can get if we don't want to spend 10k during Dragon Slayer. Also, the Amulet of Accuracy is pretty good, considering our other option, nothing, isn't nearly as good. Back in Lumbridge, I went up north and did Sheepshearer. This quest isn't even a quest in RS3, straight up relegated to mini-quest status. I don't know why I held off on getting the free 10k from the Strongholds of Security for so long. I think it's because that's a pretty obvious first step, and I want it to be cute and different. Ugh. We didn't need to go to the last room, but there's a diary task that requires us to use all 4 emotes in the final room, so I figured I'd get that sorted since I was already there. I also grabbed a bronze medium helmet from the shop in Barbarian Village for Black Knight's Fortress. I died in the fortress. On the way back, I stopped by the Barbarian Village again, grabbed some of the food and beer in the main hall, and headed back to the fortress. Bit safer this time since I actually had a means of healing myself. And if you were wondering why I made a regular Ironman and not a hardcore, I've already died twice in this video, so we'll turn on the quest the next time we swing by Falador. I needed some attack levels, and what better way to get those than with Vampire Slayer, which, now that I think of it, might be one of the only free-to-play quests that hasn't really changed, that and Dragon Slayer. Although in RS3 you get a combat lamp rather than strict attack XP, so you can use it on whatever combat skill you want. I think I might have used it on magic in RS3 because magic is very strong as a combat skill in RS3 since you don't use nearly as many runes as you do in old school, at least in the early game. Oh hey, there's a magpie impling here if anyone wants to catch it. It's right there. Just swing by and grab it. Apparently magic is really good against Count Draenor, so I got 13 really quick by murdering Varrock guards. Because we were already here at the manor, I started Ernest the Chicken before killing the basement vampire. It wasn't as hard as I was expecting. I think you just have to make sure you hit him with a melee weapon first so the garlic takes effect, then you can beat him down pretty easily with Fire Strike. And all this attack XP launched us to 23 attack. Pretty nice. Oh, and while I was doing Ernest the Chicken, not the guy, the quest, I grabbed the skull from the grave behind the manor. We'll need it for a later quest, Swan Song I think. I might be wrong, but I do know for a fact we're gonna need it later. Unless that's a RuneScape 3 thing, then it's a memento. Yeah. Time for Below Ice Mountain. This is a quest that I hadn't done before because it came out after I stopped playing old school. This remix is very charming. I genuinely like this. This is very cute. Yeah, the Rocky reference, of course. I had to leave the boss fight partway through because I didn't have 10 mining. I figured recommended didn't mean borderline required to avoid fighting a really strong boss, so I got 10 mining and finished up the quest. Back in Falador, we started Knight's Sword and finished Black Knight's Fortress. I immediately went south toward Mudskipper Point since I assumed I'd need to talk to Thurgo. I stopped by Remington, did Witch's Potion, then realized I actually had to go to Varrock and talk to Reldo about Imkendo dwarves, even though I just met one during Below Ice Mountain. Maybe Knight's Sword should be a prerequisite for that quest, just because it's kind of weird that we know an Imkendo dwarf and we can't go talk to him. I mean, arguably, you could say he can't make it because he's blind, so he doesn't know what the sword looks like. But I mean, it's still, you'd think you knew an Imkendo dwarf, so you'd be like, oh, I know him, maybe he can help me, and you'd go there first. But, you know, obviously this quest came out before that quest, so Knight's Sword should be a prerequisite for Below Ice Mountain, just to tie up some loose ends. Anyway, Reldo tells us about the dwarf town south, not a euphemism, who wants us to get a picture of the sword, so we return to Falador, get the picture, and walk all the way back south, stopping by Redbeard Frank to do the Karamja Port Sarim parts of Pirate's Treasure, and then continue on our journey back to Thurgo. We died not mining the Blurite, but trying to leave the damn cave. I collected up my stuff, had Thurgo make my sword, and then I went to Varrock to do the next step in the Pirate's Treasure quest, getting a note telling us to dig in the Falador Garden. But before running back to Falador, we stopped by the goblins to the north and helped sort out their armor situation. If you didn't know, there's 3 crates around the village containing goblin mail, so you don't need to kill goblins for them. Finally, we get to Falador and we finish up the Pirate's Treasure quest by murdering a gardener who is just trying to protect his garden. Jimmy's right, the old school player is a menace, but at least we helped trick one of the White Knights into thinking their sword is the same sword that it was before it went missing, or whatever the hell happened with the squire. I honestly, I spacebarred through it, I didn't pay attention. I think the squire lost the sword and then we had to replace it. So basically it's like when your goldfish dies and then the parents replace it because they don't want to have to explain death to you. Yeah, again, menace. Just a few more quests left. I started X marks the spot and mined some clay on the way. See, I had gotten a task from the wise old man and he told me to bring him 9 unfired pie dishes. I don't know why, but he wanted it. He sometimes rewards a decent supply of runes, and I need at least 1 law rune for Dragon Slayer. I also leveled up to 15 mining while I was here since we needed 2 pieces of iron for Doric's quest. I used the lamp on X marks the spot on agility, getting us to level 4. Now, we sprintin'. Yeah, it's not a free-to-play skill, but, you know, just shut up. The beginner clue from this quest got us a Staff of Air. Should come in handy for getting 33 magic. To add to the luck, I handed off the pie dishes to the wise old man, and he gave me a bunch of runes, including 5 long runes. Super fortunate, we only had to do the one task. And since I was in Draenor, I said, hey, let's start Prince Ali Rescue. I thought it started in Draenor, because in RS3 it starts in Draenor. But actually, in Old School it starts in Al Kharid. In RS3 it's a very different quest. It's still about rescuing Prince Ali, but it's just the start of a longer story that develops later, with the Masket, the former god of the underworld, handling reincarnation who went mad and started eating souls instead of ushering them to new life. That's the RS3 lore at least. I don't know how much Old School diverged from that. I'm sure the Tombs of a Masket raid tells us more about it, considering, you know, a Masket's in the name. I would assume it has something to do with her. And as far as I'm aware, the raid is scalable, so that'll be interesting to check out when I get to a higher level. Before returning to Al Kharid to finish the Prince Ali quest, I swung by Betty's shop in Port Sarim to buy 3,000 mind runes for magic training, and quickly finished Doric's quest since Falador was just to the north. Then I home teleported and finished the last step of Prince Ali Rescue. While I was here, I upgraded to a Mithril Scimitar. Thanks, Zeke. Now it was time for the penultimate quest, Corsair's Curse, an easy quest, or so I thought. At the end of the quest, you have to fight a mage with 55 health. He does a ton of damage and has 2 high defense. I tried over and over with my piddly little shrimp, but it just wasn't enough healing. I not only needed better stats, but better food as well. It was time to fish. Yeah, I could get 5 thieving and head over to Ardoin and steal a bunch of cakes. That'd be smart, but I'm doing this dumb free-to-play bullshit, so I can't do that. What's worse is I couldn't do fishing contests to skip a bunch of the early levels. No, I had to go all the way back to Port Sarim, buy fishing supplies, and return to Corsair's Cove and catch a bunch of sardines and herring. But still, I couldn't kill Ithoi. Herring be damned, that was too low a level. So what to do? Well, I remember this one training spot people used to talk about back in, 2008? The Edgeville Monastery. Not only are the monks weak with low defense, but they'll sometimes heal themselves, meaning more XP. And you can talk to them and ask for healing, and they'll just do it. Then you can kill the one who just healed you like some crazed maniac, and they'll just keep doing it. I think if you're fast enough, you could actually spam through their dialogue and have them heal you while you're fighting them. Saradomin's brightest. I mean, I'd need higher stats for Dragon Slayer anyway. Even though you could flinch Elvarg, higher stats would just make what would be a slow fight just a little bit less slow. I mean, it can't take that long, right? Once I got 30 attack, I bought an adamant sword from the sword shop in Varrock. It's a decent stab weapon, and dragons are weakest to stab, so it should be good for Elvarg, right? Please? I went back to Ithoi following my intense training regime with a full inventory of herring. Pretend I didn't start the fight wearing my Ironman armor, and it went much smoother. Got him down decently quickly. Now that I could use the Cove's bank, I got my magic supplies and went splashing on the ogresses for a bit. Although I guess it technically wasn't splashing. I didn't have the negative 64 magic attack bonus or whatever the hell number it needs to be, but my magic level was so low and their defenses were so high that I could hardly ever hit. So it was kind of like splashing. Jekyll even showed up to give me a strength potion to prepare for the big fight with the big dragon. How useful. I soon realized leveling this way was going to be way too slow for my liking. Splashing airstrike is like 7,000 XP per hour. So I needed GP to get runes for a better spell that I could actually kill stuff with, getting me a little bit more XP than just splashing would. Turns out you can sell steel plate legs to Louis' shop in Al Kharid for over 600 GP each, and there's a handy little plate leg spawn just north of Ferox Enclave. I world hopped until the anxiety of being in the wilderness became too much, and I left after collecting 17 sets of plate legs, which sold for over 10k, world hopping a couple times in between to keep the prices over 600 GP. Now I could afford a decent supply of runes. I got 2,000 air runes for 1,000 casts of Fire Strike, and with no flare, no pomp and circumstance, I started Dragon Slayer and begin on my journey to kill the Dragon of Crandor. Has anyone ever questioned why we need to bring this random assortment of items to this random tentacle door in the Dwarven Mines? What is this door? Who put it here? Why does it need silk? Why does it need a lobster pot? Why an unfired bowl? Why a wizard mind bomb? Why is it guarding a fragment of a map leading to an island that was populated not too long ago? Duke Horatio used to visit the island as a kid. He's certainly not an ancient wizard, so this was within recent memory. Why do we even need the map pieces? You mean to tell me no one remembers where the island is? Whatever. Melzar's maze was tough, and I died to a zombie. I came back with better food and magic this time. Fire Strike just rips through these guys. The way magic defense works in Old School is weird. Even if you have negative magic attack, if your magic level is higher than the enemies, then you'll have really high accuracy or something like that. It's why you can wear full plate armor against the Barrows brothers. And it's absurd that a level 13 spell can hit 7s, while level 13 strength you're hitting like 1s and 2s. I guess the input cost of using magic is what balances it out. Although you'd think demons would have high magic defense, but no, they're paper tigers. Just make sure you safe spot it correctly and it doesn't punch you in the face and scare you, and be absolutely sure you search the chest after opening it. 15 years ago, I was over the moon that I just finished this gauntlet, and this was before I even knew what a gauntlet was, so I wouldn't have referred to Melzar's maze as a gauntlet, but that's kind of what it is. I killed the demon, ran to tell my parents because I was so excited, and left the maze without getting the map fragment. So I had to go back in and redo the entire maze all over again, killing everything in there with my rune chain body, rune plate legs, and my rune mace. I don't even know how I afforded that stuff because this was pre-GE. Where did I get the GP to buy those items? Because I'm pretty sure I bought them from shops, but I don't remember selling anything to shops. So I don't know. The final map fragment requires us either to pay 10k to a goblin or attack him and telegrab it when he drops it. I'd rather pay 10k to level my magic than pay a stinky goblin a single cent, so I went back to the ogresses in Corsair's Cove Cavern and safe spotted them for a little bit. They also dropped chaos runes as well, which I used on bolt spells for a little more XP. And then partway through the grind, I realized I only needed 31 magic since I could boost with a wizard mind bomb for 2 levels and cast telekinetic grab that way, so that's what I did. Hit the goblin with a spell, drank some beer, then stole his map piece. 2 steps remaining, getting the shield, or 3, from Duke Horatio and fixing up our very own boat. Elvarg, you've plagued this world long enough. Time to meet your doom. Well, that took 20 minutes. Oziak, you'll never believe it. Not only did I kill the dragon, but I was able to fit its entire head in my pocket.
Jesus Christ, bud. Did you have to bring it to my house? It's covered in blood and piss.
I got scared.
Did you take a bite out of it?
I get hungry when I'm scared.
Just take your reward and get out of my house.
Every free-to-play quest done and dusted. Next time, we'll tackle some members quests, get some agility levels so I can run for more than 15 seconds, and finally, do what's probably my favorite quest in the game.